Hey everyone, okay, vlog 2/3. If you're watching my YouTube, you can see the vlog 2 that I put up over the weekend. I didn't post it on my Facebook just because I fucking deleted a couple of the videos, so it wasn't as flowy as normal. So I'm going to fix a couple of those things today. So Monday routine, getting the week kicked off. I had a fucking terrible day yesterday in terms of food and eating. I've literally been so good and clean up my food in the last 2 months. And yesterday I just felt like I was getting a fucking cold or getting run down, and it's definitely 6,000 calories worth of shit. I had 2 tubs of ice cream and there's countless bars of chocolate. So it was one of those days. I feel a little bit better today, but it happens, you know. It doesn't matter to the best of us. It literally, whether you're someone that's a fucking international fucking fitness model or your first week training, you're going to fall off. So if it happens to you, don't worry too much. I've done videos on this before about how to nullify the effects. So basically my routine today is, you know, I'm cutting back on my carbs just because I don't need them. My body's so fucking full of glycogen stores from the food that I've eaten. I'm going to go train legs now, get my hardest workout, and then just go back on the grind, go back on my normal food today. And it's probably unlikely that it'll happen again for, you know, another couple of months, because my blood sugars have been really balanced. I think it was just because I was getting sick. But I managed to kick it. I just rested and chilled and played with Holly yesterday, so we didn't have anything too stressful. I didn't train. So if it does happen to you over the weekends, as I said, just get in and get your hardest training session done. Start burning through those fucking calories that you used, and you're just going to get yourself better mentally. The reality is, one day falling off isn't going to set you back the same way as eating well for one day isn't going to make you lean and ripped. It's going to, you know, it's mental. So just come in and train, get your hardest workout done. I'm after taking my pre-workout. So if you're following my Snapchat, BrianK019, at the minute I'm trialing this pre-workout for pre-workout, which is basically creatine, trimalate, beta-alanine, and D-aspartic acid for test boosting, taking it 30 minutes before I take a pre-workout. So my pre-workout then is just Myocell or Cell Zoom from Amex, but taking the pre-workout for pre-workout. It's been working really well the last week. I like the D-aspartic acid. I take natural test boosting supplements all the time. I love D-aspartic acid, ZMA. I take maca. I take things like Restore the Yang, stuff that are the Chinese herbal test boosters. And they work fucking phenomenal. It's elk antler, colostrum, things like that promote IGF-1. So again, then maybe there's a tip in there for being able to put on a bit of size without having to go down alternative routes. So maybe that'll help with some people, but for me it works really, really well. It helps with my recovery. It helps with my intensity when I'm training. So trialing the pre-workout for pre-workout. Going to go train now. I've got legs and a bit of a HIIT, so I'm going to try and record as much of that as possible. So stay tuned. Alright, so first off, we had a hack squat with a superset with an isometric barbell lunge. One of the kind of mistakes, I say it's not a mistake as such, but people that drop too low on machines and on hack squats, you're going to get a lot of glute engagements in it, which is fine if you're trying to work your glutes and, you know, you're a girl trying to bring up your glutes or an athlete trying to bring up your glutes for your sport. But if you're actually trying to just bring up quads, make sure you keep the tension on the muscle all the way through. So you can see I'm dropping to just about 90 and I'm not locking out at the top. So you've got constant engagement through the quads. It really fucking hurts, and then dropping slow into the negative. So I was trying to do a 4 seconds down, 1 second hold at the bottom, and then 2 to 3 seconds on the way back up. Again, it varies from set to set because I was fatiguing and then starting to speed up. But keeping all the tension on your quads will give you a lot more growth in that area. And then I jumped it straight in for a superset with barbell isometric lunges. So anyone that watched the vlog last week, I was doing a version of this with kettlebells. So basically it keeps all the tension through the quads. You can see the inside of the quad will just start to pulsate. And you can actually hit your glutes on this as well. And then I switched it straight into kettlebell overhead lunges. This is a great heart raiser because you're holding the weight above your head. Your blood is obviously going into your quads and it's going above your head, so your heart rate gets really, really high on this because your body's shuttling weight between upper and lower. And then I superset it with a kettlebell front squat. Again, dropping to just about 90. You can hit glutes on this by moving your legs out wider. I was trying to focus on quads, but it varies day to day. If I was doing this twice in the week, I'd go glutes one day, drop a bit lower, go a bit wider with my legs, and then switch it the other day. And this is the finisher. This nearly fucking killed me. So it's dumbbell lunges, 10 reps up for distance, so just 5 reps on each side. and then turning around at the top, bringing it back for 5 reps. What I was trying to do was keep the tension on the quad. The lower you drop on a lunge, you can contract the glute on the non-lunge leg if you sit into it, or if you shift the weight into the front of your heel, you're going to get more quad. So I was trying to load the quads on this just to get everything through my legs. So as you can see, I'm not dropping as low as you would if you were trying to hit glutes on it, but if you're trying to hit glutes, drop lower. And then it was straight into dumbbell burpees, so coming straight up at the top, pulling your shoulders back at the top. This is going to hit so much muscle recruitment because you're obviously working through your quads. You're hitting a push-up pretty deep down, so you're getting your chest, triceps, shoulders, and then you're effectively deadlifting at the top. So you're going to get lower back in there, and core and everything is engaged all the way through. I find, particularly because I'm back playing sport, this one helps me so much. So if you get knocked down or fall, you're so quick to pop back up because you've been doing it with fucking weight in the gym. So anytime you fall, it's very easy to spring back up. But also amazing as a fat burner. Just because you're working so much muscle, you're going to burn so many calories. Obviously, the key to burning body fat and building muscle at the same time is just recruitment of fibers and recruiting more muscle than just one. This is why isolation moves aren't great for burning fat, because you just don't get your heart rate high enough. At this finisher, again, I was panting and wheezing at the end. My body was absolutely dead from it. And then the next move on this was ropes. I'm not going to show it all because I realised that I've got my fucking ass in the camera. So it was basically just 40 waves on the rope. And then I finished it with prowler pushes, low to start. So it was all through the upside at the top part of the quads. I did 5 rounds of this total. This is the last move in it, and my quads were just completely burnt out. You get your calves and you get your acceleration when you move your hands up higher on a prowler, so it's not as bad. You can actually go this way back is actually way easier, and you can go faster. But when you're dropping in low, man, does it hurt. So I did this at the end of the workout, 5 rounds of it, and just did it until it was done. I tried taking breaks in between, but my heart rate felt like it was going to explode out of my chest. But as I said, because of all the calories I ate yesterday, I tend to like to just go in and do a brutal session because it just kind of sets me back to zero again. Even from just a mental sense, because you've left everything behind. My t-shirt was destroyed with sweat. I had to stop a couple of times just to wipe my face so I could see. So it's an amazing workout. Try adding it in. I probably wouldn't start with 5 rounds, but definitely worth doing it for 3 and then building up to the 5. And that workout was fucking hard. Those finishers are absolutely killing me. They work really well. I'm just going to do a quick bit on talking about the weekend and what happens if you overeat at the weekend. As I said in the pre-workout clip, that generally I don't fall off, and because I keep my diet pretty lenient as such, I keep my blood sugar stable, I keep my meals pretty similarly timed. I generally don't get those mad cravings unless my body's run down. And yesterday I felt like I was getting a cold or getting a flu or getting something, and it just hit me for 6. But I just want to let you know, if you fall off at the weekend, you're not fucking up your entire progress. People beat themselves up over it, and this is how fucking eating disorders and bad relationships with food come from. It's from people beating themselves up because they've had one bad day. The key really is, I follow a 90-10 rule. If you're getting your diet and lifestyle right 90% of the time, a 10% slip's not going to fucking destroy you. It's not going to ruin you. I know myself from having years of, I'm in a good place now, and I'm lucky that I don't, as I said, it doesn't bother me how I look anymore. It's the way I look is a byproduct of the way I live. And I find that my character isn't derived by my level of percentage of body fat. It's the thoughts in my head, the relationships with people. They're the things that are important to me, not, if I've got 6 or 8 abs, But I understand that not everybody is there. And I took years working on it because there was a time when my character was given by how I looked. The physique that I had was my identity. I was the guy with abs, or the guy that was in shape. That's not a healthy way to live your lifestyle, because it basically can lead to seriously poor relationships with food. So if you find you're beating yourself up, and you're binging or secret eating or killing yourself when you've slipped up and had a bad day of eating, don't fucking sweat it. The reality is, as I said in the pre-workout clip, you don't get fucking fat in a day. The same way as you're not going to get in shape in a day. So don't let it consume your entire thought process. Remember what I said, thoughts become things. And if you start beating yourself up every time you eat something bad, it's going to be a long fucking life. The reality is, when you are obsessing about food and obsessing about your weight and obsessing about the way you look, that never ends. You know, you can put a date on it and be like, I want to look amazing in 6 weeks for my wedding, or for a photo shoot, or for going on holidays, or for an event, or for going races, or whatever it is. You know, the reality is that's not what is going to sustain you long term. You know, the new program I'm designing, it's going to be a follow-on from the 6-week one I did. It's the second phase. Is a lot on sustainability and how to get that balance in your life, that you can be in great shape, but it's a byproduct of the way you live. You know, my top 50, the groups that have signed up, are going to have first priority on this, because they're the guys that I'm going to be running it with. But the reality is, it's about life and balance and everything. You know, if you're not as worried about the way you look, the irony of it is that reduction in cortisol and stress hormone is probably going to have you looking even better. You know, because it's a byproduct of the way you live. You know, and I'm not saying don't train hard. Like you saw my session today, you know, because I overate yesterday and ate a load of shit, my body has so much energy, so I've just crushed my workout. You know, I just had an extra hard workout just to say, and it wasn't to make up for it, it was more to get my head back straight, because I wasn't mentally right this morning. When I overeat, like, there's your brain in your head and there's your gut brain, and there's a link there, you know, and if your gut's under stress, it's sending anxiety to your brain. You know, it's the neurotransmitters and neurons, like, they're going, there's a road and pathway between your gut and your brain. So this is why people get really anxious when they overeat and stuff like that, because they're literally connected. You know, your gut and your brain are connected. They're your two brains. You know, your gut has a brain, and it's heavily linked in with your anxiety and your tendency to get down on yourself, you know, and just feel poorly. So it's one of those things that I train because I need to get my head back straight, but it's not a thing that I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to get fat in a day because I overate yesterday. You know, that's not reality. That's not what's going to happen. Even though you feel horrible and you feel like you're up 2 stone because of the water and the sodium, it's not body fat. You know, the body fat will take 48, 72 hours to even come onto your body, and probably a little bit longer. You know, that's water, that's sodium, he's feeling horrible. So just don't get yourself down. Remember, it's balance and lifestyle. You know, I'm going to be designing this program, the second phase of this, with the intention of strengthening up people's relationships. Now, it's going to be designed around hard training, because that's what I love, because that sends the endorphins to the brain. It gets you on track and gets you motivated. It makes you feel amazing and get your body very efficient at using its fat for its fuel source. But you need to be able to go out for a couple of drinks and for a meal and not feel bad about it. You know, the 90-10 rule, if you're eating well, training hard 90% of the time, that 10% is going to be balanced. It should be helping your head, not making it worse. So hope this helps. A little bit of an add into the vlog, which could have been a video by itself. But stay tuned, and more to come.